the pleasure of introducing our next speaker, who is a pioneer for us at ArawakX. Without Davinia Bain being the director of the Access Accelerator, we wouldn't have as many small businesses to even engage with ArawakX. So she's someone that I look up to and someone that I know a lot of entrepreneurs and women in business look up to. So please welcome Davinia to the stage.
Thank you so much, Bria. What she didn't mention was she is still one of us, even though she was stolen by the Rammings. But she will always be one of us. So thank you very much for the introduction, Bria. I would like for us to take a minute to do something extremely important. There are two women in this room that we really have to salute and celebrate tonight. I would like to recognize the presence of Minister for Public Service and also Member of Parliament for Seabreeze. Congratulations to both of you. You must know that all of us were in the background that night cheering you guys on, and for the next 5 years we're going to be in your corner. Please call on us. Anything you need for your communities, for your portfolios, you have direct access. Please, we want to support each other, so congratulations. I also had the fun of having a little bit of personal time with our keynote speaker tonight, and I think she's an amazing lady. We learned a lot from her in a very short space of time. She's very colorful, and I think the color is important. A lot of times as women in business or in government and other spheres, we sort of dumb down our color, and I'm so happy that you don't. Keep it. It's necessary because that's who we are. I mean, and it's important for us to be our authentic self. So I salute you as well tonight. So tonight we're talking about women in tech. I was told I had 2 minutes, and then I was told I had 3 minutes, and then I might have 5 minutes. So I just used up, a whole minute to say how much time I have. That said, I want to focus on the funding part of tech. So I think the other women are going to really cover, the female aspects of developing tech businesses. But I want to talk a bit about, from my perspective, the only thing I can really add, while I'm involved in a tech business privately, I think the scope that I can really help a lot of us tonight with is from the funding of tech businesses. So I'm going to start by saying that in the Bahamas, just in case you didn't know, I have a secret. It's not easy to fund tech businesses in the Bahamas. Well, it's not easy to fund businesses, period, in the Bahamas. While we've been able to fund just around 70 million thus far, that was not easy. That took a lot of determination from the government to painstakingly set aside funding to make that happen. In some cases, some arms had to be twisted with some of the private sector, and in some cases, private sector ran to the table. But it was not easy, and it's still not an easy fight. You could have, up to 90% guarantee from us, and still there's a possibility, a significant possibility, that we may not be able to fund your business. And what I'm suggesting is that in the tech space, it is even harder. And I want to talk about it so that you can strategize. If you're looking to fund a tech business, you need to be able to develop a unique strategy specifically for your business. That said, we've all heard this concept of, I don't want nobody thief my business. I don't want no one thief my business idea. Right? I intentionally said it in dialect so you could get the feeling of it, right? Folks, that's not going to fly. If Marcian didn't show us the video where we could actually see a proof of concept of the app, there's no way he can expect you to jump up and give him money to develop the idea, all right? So we have to think about the smart way of developing a proof of concept in a way where you secure yourself as much as possible against the possibility of somebody, taking the idea and running with it. I don't like this feeling that many Bahamian entrepreneurs, and maybe other entrepreneurs have, I don't know, this is just my context, but we have this concept of, I only want to say a little bit about my idea. I want to keep it, choke it in my hands because the idea is my baby. Well, you have to be more committed to the materialization of that idea than the idea itself. Sometimes we talked about serial entrepreneurs today. Sometimes we're serial idea havers. We just like to have ideas, and we talk about ideas all day. But it's very different. It's a very different skill to have an idea versus execute an idea. And in the execution, you have to share it. It's a part of the process. So what we need to do is spend more time figuring out how to do that safely. Now, that said, we do have some, either real or perceived, we're going to find out as we have more companies in the tech space go forward, we have some challenges with IP. All right, I remember there's been, a push. There was a push in the last PLP administration for quite a bit of IP legislation and the like. I'm not certain whether that legislation, has been given the teeth that it needs to have. And so there are a number of people who don't see the connect between the IP and the security. And this is one of the challenges why we find it hard to develop or fund tech businesses. When we put you in front of a financial institution or a private equity investor, what they're saying is, well, what's the asset value? How do we independently verify your valuation of this asset, of this IP? First of all, do you have it as IP? Is it protected? Secondly, what's the value and how do we verify that value? Now, I know that I believe the central bank has started some work with a collaterals registry, and I'm really excited about that, and I hope that that progresses very quickly, because in many other countries that saw this path of tech development, they went ahead and did similar things, developing the legislation for IP, developing the collateral registry, because what happens with that is your IP is obviously an it's an intangible asset that will be registered in that collaterals registry, and it has valuations, and every time it's sold or every time there's some transaction with it, there's a public registry that will show that value. So those things over time will help to strengthen the ecosystem for tech funding. At the moment, that still doesn't really exist. So you still have to figure it out, because you can't keep it in your fist like this. We still have to share the idea. So what else can you do? There are some people who go through the patent process in the Bahamas, and I never knock that. Okay, it's great, go ahead and do it. But folks, let's be very proactive with global registration of our IP. All right, it's almost the same amount of effort, if not less, to go through an international process for registering your tech, registering your IP. That gives you the first step to really holding the asset in your hand, to making it an intangible asset as tangible as possible. And in many cases, when you go through one major jurisdiction, that's respected by the other major jurisdictions when it comes to IP. So I really would say, as a first step, to please take the effort to do the research on where's the best jurisdiction for you to register your IP. And even in that world, that's where I think you should go and try and get your first independent valuations. Again, it becomes currency. Have somebody else open it up, open your hands a bit, let somebody else have the scrutiny into your IP so that it can be valued independently, and that's what you take to your investors. Now, in doing so, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed that you will be funded, but at least you're going through the effort, through the steps, to show that you recognize that this is a challenge in our country, and you're trying to figure it out. Because at the end of the day, if I'm going to give you my money to invest in what you want to do, there's a process we were finding out earlier today from DRC Junior, that it could take up to 2 years on average between the minute that I give you my first dollar and the minute that you launch. So what sort of security do I have in that process? Well, I own a piece of that IP if you go through the proper process to have it done. That said, I know I see the police already standing up front, so I'm going to wrap up. The one thing I want to leave with you is what SBDC is going to do in addition to whatever we're trying to do now. I want to recognize Samantha Roll is in the house with us tonight. And a number of my other team members, if you guys could just wave. We have a good team out tonight. So Sam is the head of many things. And we have sort of issues with titles in the SBDC, but hers has to do with strategic operations, strategic projects, basically all of the new innovative things that we're doing at the SBDC, she incubates until we pass it on to other process managers. One of the things she's incubating now is a tech incubator. And this tech incubator is going to be our way of at least trying to do something to push forward the investability of tech, the monetization of tech in particular. So what we're looking to do with our clients, we're going to start with our clients first and the government. We're going to allow our clients and the government to commission tech. So we want to open up these businesses. Any of you, if you have businesses and you know that you have some process problems and you think tech may be the solution for those problems, we want you to come to the tech incubator. We're going to have young people there who are crazy about tech. They have the skills. They're developing the skills. But we want to develop the tech that you need to succeed. And in order to do so, we need you to be willing to play ball. Let us open up and see your processes and come up with things that can help you reduce inefficiencies, increase efficiencies through the use of tech. So this tech incubator will also be another way of teaching Bahamians how to monetize their tech. It's not a straightforward process, and it's not one size fits all. Different types of tech you could monetize differently based on the expected revenue streams. So that said, we're in the game. We're here to support. That's what SBDC is about. Please, if you're doing interesting projects, we would love to hear about it. Reach out to Sam. Let's invite you once we have our launch, which Sam is making sure happens very, very soon. We want to open it up to all of you so you can come and let's build tech together. Let's monetize it together and see where we can take this in the Bahamas. Thank you very much.